What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. Today I want to just talk briefly about why I have stopped using Memrise. And I stopped using it before I started the mass immersion approach, but I want to talk about specifically why I stopped using Memrise and I switched over to Anki. So first and foremost, I think Memrise is a fantastic app, and I think that if you can stick to it the way that you're supposed to, I think it's probably okay. I have a very, my mind is just different in terms of, I want to overly analyze everything, and Memrise allowed me to do that, as to where Anki does not. And I'll get into what I mean. So, when I would be learning on Memrise, I would set my limits, 5 words, and I would do 2 or 3 sessions. So I'd learn 5, 10, 15 words, whatever. And so it would be fine, right? Which, I still thought that learning in context would probably be smarter. But for some languages, when I was studying Spanish, even though context is important, it's closer to English. So it's not like Japanese in regards to some words just being completely off the wall, right? And not really knowing. For example, I've been struggling recently with the word yappari, which means 90 different things, but I've kind of got them nailed down a little bit because of I've been watching some videos on them and stuff. But so with Memrise, when I would be studying, I would basically go in and I would do, my 5, 10, 15 words, whatever I was saying, and then it would be fine, right? And then I think after the first time you learn them, there's a 4-hour gap in time or whatever, but which I wasn't immersing at this time either. This was, like I said, before I started MIA, and I would be sitting there and I would be fine, right? And I didn't do any immersion, I would go to either Duolingo or whatever other app I was using, and then I would kind of just do stuff for a minute, and then I would go back into Memrise, and I would just review that section. So if there was 15 words in a category, I would just review the whole category before I needed to review it again. And so basically by using Memrise, which is an SRS system, it allowed me to cheat the idea of an SRS system and not actually get the benefits of it. Because it seems like the benefits of it are to study less but retain more information, right? You bring that word up right before the system thinks that you're going to forget it, and it causes and creates a stronger connection in your brain, so you remember it the whole whatever, right? You guys probably know what SRS is, and I don't have to explain it to you. But I would go in and I would study it again. So let's say the first set is 4 hours. You have 4 hours between when you remembered it and then it shows it to you again. Also, that was another problem. I'll get to that in a second. But so I would study it, and then I would go back in, and then there would only be 3 hours left until my next review, but I would review it again then, but the time didn't reset. It didn't go to 4 more hours. It didn't even set it up to that next level, whatever I would have got it right at 4 is. It was just 3 hours left. So you could review it every hour on the hour, and it would still just be good to go in 4 hours when the natural timer would go off. And that became a problem. I overdid it. And I don't really know if overstudying is beneficial or not, but it prevented me from doing other things that probably could advance my language learning at the time for whatever language I was learning. The other thing is, from where it isn't just a set amount that you have to do each day, I could go in at any point and there would always be new cards, right? With Anki, I go in and it's got the cards that are due that day, and you do them and it's done. You're done with Anki. Now, I'm sure there's ways to go about it. I'm sure there's something in the options where I could click and make it happen, but from where it's not just readily available for me to do, I don't do it. When I finish my Anki reviews, I'm out. It's just done. And then I go and immerse, or I read, or whatever I'm doing, and it kind of helps me. It helps me maintain a better pace in language learning because I can immerse and hear the words natively, right? Because that's the thing. The SRS is kind of a supplement to immersion. You use the SRS, you hear those words, you hear them in context of the sentence, right? A lot of most of the time when you're creating Anki flashcards, especially once you get the first, couple of words down, when you can make the I+1 sentences or your T1 sentences or your target language sentences, to where it's target language +1. You create that sentence, but in Anki it was just a word, but so you're learning this and you go in here. That was a very big jumbled mess of nonsense, sorry. But so you hear the word in Anki, but where you're really getting the word down, that's just to get it into your brain. Where you're hearing it and learning it is in immersion. And so Memrise, I wasn't doing it, which I wasn't immersing at the time either. But like I said, it was taking so much time out of my day. I'd spend hours on Memrise rehash, like, you know, I would look up chair and I would just learn chair, and then I would go back and I would see chair, and then I would do chair again, and then chair again. Why? Like, I was just wasting so much time in there. So I think ultimately Memrise enabled me to do that, right? And that's just my own bad language learning habits that I have, which are telling that I'm slowly breaking and slowly getting out of. But I don't know. I'm curious to see if anybody else thinks the same way. I know there's a lot of people in my comment section that use Memrise, because I get comments about Memrise from time to time, people talking about decks they use and stuff like that. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I think Memrise is great. I think if you use it the way it's supposed to be used, it's probably fantastic. It's just I didn't do that, and for whatever reason, I always had that nagging interest to go in. The other thing with Memrise, as I mentioned in the video, when I deleted all the apps, it allowed me to see all the decks that I had, and so I could be like, oh, you know, I'm studying Spanish, I need to concentrate on this. Oh, German does look cool, I do have that deck, and oh, here's Japanese. So like, you know, now with Japanese being my main focus and staying on it for almost 2 months in right now, like, not having that there is helping me. Now, obviously, I could download those decks on Anki. I just haven't done that. But I'm just saying in terms of, this is why I quit using Memrise. I just had to get it out of my life because it was causing me to dabble, because everything was just so readily available. Look at this course. Look at this course. So, yeah, but I would be interested to know what you guys think. I know a lot of the MIA community is generally more geared towards Anki. And I would be 100% honest. If Matt didn't spend like probably an hour and a half or 2 hours helping me set my Anki up, I probably would still be off of Anki, because it's very overwhelming, and he did a good job of like explaining it and kind of talking it down to me, and like he went through and set a lot of stuff up for me, like over, you know, shared screen and stuff, and like, so I think that really helped. So ultimately I could really see why Anki would be overwhelming if not. But I know I had an interview with Kiniku Ninja, and he doesn't have any of that stuff. He just uses the base Anki, no add-ons or anything, because he doesn't have time to put into that. And boom, 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 he just does it, and it worked fine for him. So, like I said, that's it. I'm not going to ramble on for too much longer. Let me know what you think down below. Do you use Memrise? Do you use Anki? What do you prefer? Do you see what I'm saying when I'm talking about Memrise allowing you to kind of go in and maybe overstudy and oversaturate your brain with stuff and taking away from time that you could be immersing in content? I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. So, hopefully I answered that question for you guys. Even though it wasn't really a question, it's something I wanted to address. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all very, very soon.